Hi, so this is my intro elevator speech for tonal silence, which is a exercise or a practice aid. I wouldn't call it necessarily a standalone practice or anything with its own goals, but whatever you happen to be doing in terms of like a physical, mental, or emotional practice, tonal silence helps you use water as a tool to amplify your innate ability. Where I find it to be most fruitful is in using it to enhance very, very foundational abilities like perception, focus, balance, right? So I've come up with some methods or cueing that uses water to amplify all those things. And then with those increased attributes, like with increased focus, with increased balance or whatever, you go and contemplate the breath, or maybe you have an injury, or maybe there's like an ability that you would like to dial in, a coordination power pattern, maybe there's like a pain somewhere. And so with the increased attributes, you can go in and explore that, and it pretty much very reliably causes insights to be had, or the situation kind of unwind and resolve itself, because a lot of the times injury or performance plateaus are based off of a perceptual limitation. Like you get to a point and you don't really know what to do, and so that point of not really knowing what to do with an ability, with a skill tree, or with a chronic injury, in all circumstances is really enhanced by better focus, better listening ability, better perception, better balance, right? So that's what we use the water to kind of amplify. And the reason I call it tonal silence is because one of the things that can amplify perception, listening, your ability to know what's going on in the body, your ability to take in data, sensation. As you take in sensation, you have a sense of taste, you have a sense of beauty, you have a sense of correctness. And so if you're perceiving the body correctly, you kind of auto arrange it, auto organize it, just like you kind of auto arrange notes or music and what have you. So the tonal silence, the water is the benchmark or the touchstone of silence. The activity of water, like just a tub of water doing nothing, is what you would be doing if you were totally silent, removed all noise. And so you can be immersed in water, and with a couple of simple cues, kind of like if you were with a voice coach and they were saying, like, hit a C note. If they sang a perfectly pitched C note, it's easier for you to find a perfect C. And so by contemplating perception and balance and all these other things in a perfectly pitched silence, it cues you in very quickly to the exact correct mental state that you need to get into to kind of figure out what's going on in problem areas. It's dramatically effective. It could end there, but I'll keep going. There's no discomfort, there's no cold water, there's no breath holding, there's no anything like that. It's all very in like 2 to 4 feet of water, very safe, very controlled. And you're just learning to use the effects of the water, the pressure, the buoyancy, the fluidity, the connectiveness, the isolation. When you go into water, you're isolated. And all of these attributes of water can be used as a cue or a pointer to get these deeper faculties of your mind to activate in a way that they wouldn't normally activate. And it's really no different than, like, let's say that you had a shoulder injury and it was because this wasn't really activating very well, like your teres major or something. And so you just get a tiny little stretch band, and the pressure from the stretch band allows you to kind of activate and rehabilitate that shoulder, rehabilitate the muscle, which what you're doing is like you're just learning how to recruit, be mindful of a particular area of the body that has stopped participating. So with the water, there's a lot of different things that are like focus, balance, like how do you cue those? It's very difficult to point to where focus or balance is happening and where there may be postural defects in in something intangible like focus or balance. But with the water as a tool, you can see, it just kind of reveals what's going on with the balance, what's going on with the focus. And it makes somewhat subtle, nuanced things very simple, obvious, and direct. And really, no matter who you are, it amplifies your ability. Like if it was a, I like to use the analogy of like punching or digging, right? Like if everybody was punching, the strongest person would be able to punch really, really hard. But if you gave them a stick, they would be able to translate that into like hitting really, really hard. And the same thing would help a person who couldn't hit very hard. If you gave them a stick, they'd go really, really hard. So no matter what level of punching you're at, like a stick helps you tremendously. Same thing with digging. You might be able to dig a hole really fast with your hands, but if you're given a shovel, you can get a tremendous amount of more work done. And so it's not like it's almost like this enhancement of your ability is tremendously useful no matter where you're at, in terms of like, oh, I've maxed out my skill and my ability, I'm the best of the best, or I'm super confused, I have no idea how to even approach this stuff and everything is totally out of my control. Both of those positions or postures like benefit greatly from having those basic foundational attributes enhanced by water. Just like having your strength enhanced by a shovel increases the amount of dirt you can move 10, 50, 100 fold. So in terms of perception, technique work, studying, exercise science, there's that big of an effect in the art or in the activity of understanding the breath deeper, understanding mindfulness deeper, understanding focus deeper, or balance. There's a particular rate at which you can understand and comprehend and improve and practice all those things. And just like a shovel increases the rate of digging, water increases if you know how to use it correctly, water increases the rate at which you can kind of push through or see all these different things about the body. It acts as kind of an introspective lens, or just a cueing aid. It makes it very, very easy to directly activate systems of the body that might be called like meta systems. Like, where is your perception happening? Where it's like it's everywhere. How do you focus in on something that's like everywhere, including even like you're working on perception is working on the thing that's forming your picture of the entire world, right? Like if you actually work on your perception, you're working on the substrate of the entire world, because the resolution or the quality of this room or this space that you're in is entirely dependent on your perceptual acuity. What are you capable of perceiving? That's like the fidelity, or that's the resolution of the environment. So working on that will change the entire environment. And yeah, water provides a nice, safe, gentle, comfortable container within which you can do that. And so that is my sort of introductory elevator speech for tonal silence. If you would like to book a session, just DM me. I'm doing first session free. See who you are, what's going on, get your story. We can come up with a, like a practice schedule if you'd like, and also what seems to be like a fair price for that sort of thing, and a frequency and all that. And all that can be determined in the first session. It's I think it's very individualistic. It's deep work, it's valuable work. Everyone's in a different situation. So first session's free. I'll even try and give you the full, this is what I would do if I were you, never come back in the first session. Like, hey, here's the exact route out of this mess if you want to. As far as to my understanding, I've been around the healthcare world, and by out of this mess, I don't treat problems. I don't do any therapy on the problem. I work on the part of you that is looking at your problem. And so I'll say, this is how you can see your problem from every angle as clearly as possible and know exactly what to do if you truly want to change it. And then also providing, basic motivation and support to do that if you wanted to purchase that sort of thing. But it's freely available if you have friends, any sort of relationship or whatever, but glad to provide that relationship as well. And so that's That's tonal silence.